Hello, Polytopians. Thanks for tuning into the Polytopian Times. I'm your host, Sam, and today I'm here with a very strange game indeed. So, as you might notice, there are quite a few players in this title. It's a multiplayer match. Me versus Mars in a 1v1, plus many bots. In fact, more bots than I thought possible. There seems to be some sort of glitch or something's up with the latest update. And, we've got a 900 tile map, 900 tiles here with 100 bots or so on it. It's really ludicrous. I would love to show all their turns play by play, but I think for the most part we're just gonna have to skip to just Mars and I's turn, just simply due to the sheer amount of time it takes just to show a single turn, and you'll see just how long it takes to scroll. Let's dive into it. So here we start out with Mars up in the north as Vengir. And I am also playing Vengir, perfect for a 900 tile cage match. And here we'll zoom out here. And the turns are just going to go. So there are bots all over this map. And unfortunately, the kicker is as I scroll, unfortunately I can't push it too far, too fast. It sort of has to stick for a second. Anyways, Mars is off exploring, found somebody new. I've also found somebody new, this poor Kiku player, and that's looking good for me. Sorry about that. Oh, geez. See, it still wants to stick. I'm just going to pause it here. It's a little easier to rotate. It has to sort of load the map with each spin of the turn. All right, and here we have Mars moving on their Kiku. Gonna take Vako. Meanwhile, I'm moving on Leoki, and I likewise have taken it. And I've met enough tribes to allow me to level up Hexast. I've gotten an Explorer, and that's going to give me quite a few stars. That's going to give me a nice little bit of technology and some economic development, and hopefully a nice swordsman too. As you can see, I've gone straight for philosophy so I can have a nice tech discount for the remainder of the game, especially given how many cities there are in this. And it's off to the bots again. And we'll go through some of their turns in a bit, but again, just for the sake of time. And there we go. Turn 3. And up here, Mars has just claimed Vako and gotten forestry as well as hunting, pushing off towards Quetz now and leveling up their capital. And we've got that Explorer headed out. Lots of vision, lots of stars there. Excellent vision on what I'm doing, too. Very useful. Overall, a nice, profitable turn. Good level ups using that forestry to give that economy the extra little edge it needs to be competitive here. And a few more swords to go out and fight with. Pop growth here as well. On a map like this, there's no point in border growth. You can't grow your borders. And here I am. It's also a nice economic turn for me. Leoki, interestingly enough, wasn't leveled up quite yet before I got to it. Interesting indeed for a Kiku player, so I got a second Explorer, which means quite a few additional stars. In fact, I've gotten basically 100 stars over the course of this turn, whereas Mars only got the one Explorer, unfortunately. Their second capital was already leveled up. So I've leveraged that quite nicely. Gotten a bunch of techs, of course. All the stuff I'd need to, be nice and dangerous early on in the game. It's only turn 3 right now, so it is insane the amount of development I'm able to throw up by this point in time. There's my first giant on turn 3. And just wait and see. We've got a second giant coming. Boom, there it is. That's right, turn 3, 2 giants, 11 stars per turn on my 2 cities. Not terrible. And yes, lots of fires already on this map. Sieges are happening everywhere. And empires are beginning to form out of these many separate city-states that this interesting round presented. Actually, whatever it is, I actually quite liked the game, although I'm not a huge fan of the the time it takes just to go through the replay. As bots die, it'll slow down, or become a little easier to go through, but that's going to take a while. Anyways, up here we have Mars pushing on Zitzel, going towards that Quetz player. Meanwhile, I am pushing towards this other Kiku player as my next target. I want to also get rid of Samanti before Samanti has any time to really get big and strong, and I plan to move on Quetz myself afterwards. I don't know Mars is to the north yet. Now, I'm about to send out my first double cloak wave the turn after this, and that's going to have quite some nice impact. Oh. There we go. Forgot to pause it. Plus, I couldn't go as far, and it takes longer to go. Too far, though. And here we are. At the start of Mars's turn. Get a nice shot at Zell. And bringing in that sword, so that'll be a third city there. And about to bring a giant. And we've got catapults out already, which is nice to see. You know, that's going to do you some good, both offensively and defensively. And there's that first giant, of course, on turn 4. Good to have out. Here I am pushing on our Samanti players to try to throw out a Dumux to try and stop me. I've got my cloaks en route, and I've got my swords pushing out, as well as the giant. Now, I've run into Mars, and I realize it's going to be a big fight. My giant was intended to have a relatively simple fight to get in there, so, you know, I'm just prepping up for, you know, what's geared up to be quite a bit more than I expected. But, you know, I can farm out some super units, get swords going, leverage all the other attacks I've already got. And let those cloaks do some real damage. Alright, zooming out so we can get the big picture as we skip through here. Turn 5, folks. And by turn 5, out of the 100 bots that are present in this game... Oh, you can't even see which ones are dead from this position. I believe 1 or 2 had died by this point. I'll just have to accelerate all the way along to... our next turn over here. Well, there we go. Boop. And let's see, we're on this. Yep, okay, so we can see, again, there's, you know, like 100, 50, 30 bots. There's a large amount of bots. Oh, what is it? Yes, yeah, there are 100 bots, 3 out of 100. On this 900 tile map. Now, I've got 3 in first. Mars has got 2 in second at 2340. Not a fortuitous meeting point, unfortunately. Mars was about to get their third city, but I did get much luckier with my my double explorer. Now, a bunch of bots have already died off in the mist, and as you can see, more cities are on fire, so that's only going to grow. That means as the turns go, it will indeed get faster. That's a whole game's worth already. So... It's really fun, really interesting to see. Anywho, Mars is absolutely going to try and take Zitzel. They can see that I'm finally pushing up, and that's going to be a problem. But the catapult's already in position, so next turn it'll be really damaging for me, really hard to handle. And looks like Mars is going to try and push on Barter in the meantime, try and grab some additional territory. Oh. I'm getting a second catapult to line up some real offensive potential here. So I'm just going to pop in that first cloak and get some real damage done. But I also want to mess up that giant before it has the chance to do too much. So we got that riot going. Got a nice chunk of stars on my turn. And I pushed in with a lot of swords, and with the cloaks, it looks like I have this wonderful force presence here. I'm looking at Zuazan as my next target, too, just trying to expand in as many directions as I can as possible. Oh. There we go. Nope. Tricky thing it is. There we go. Moving along to turn 7 here. Nope. And there we are. And starting out turn 7, we've got Mars striking back at my Cloak Rush, basically annihilating all of my Cloak forces before they have the chance to do much of anything, although I did steal those 5 stars and obviously buy myself time, pushed some pressure off of my Giant. Both those catapults would have been devastating otherwise to my Giant. And I've got some archers up on my end. I'm also going to take Zuazan and just sort of try and, form my own sort of natural pincer around Zizel. See if I can't push into it. Got another cloak who's about to go and take another 5 stars, denying 10 stars in total now. Consecutive cloaks are pretty demoralizing. Of course, I don't expect it to go much better than the last one, but it keeps pressure up, and it keeps those catapults busy. Meanwhile, Mars has pushed up, a couple giants, so he's really trying to fight for Zizel. He does not want to lose this city. And I'm just trying to build up a force of archers and keep that cloak pressure steady whilst I push off in some other directions. I'm moving towards Kekeg now, or Lakbu, and I don't know, I'm sort of I-spying Kiemem. Seems like a nice push afterwards. And let's zoom out a bit more too. This Abasi player is near us. They can see a nice picture of what's going on. I suspect a good number of bots are indeed dead by this point, because the spinning of the wheel here certainly seems a good bit shorter. Let's just take a little peek, see at how many tribes have been. Yeah, a good number of tribes have indeed joined the extinct list, including some of the original 16, which you can see had colors still. The rest are all black. But a good number of tribes are still alive indeed. And of course, I am in first. I got 17 stars per turn as well. Oh, sorry, that is Mars who's got 17 stars per turn. But I am in first here. And I'm trying to keep that pressure up. Mars is doing some real damage with those catapults, but it's just not enough to sort of, keep me at bay. See, I've got a lot of stuff that's just about to hit next turn. But those swords, those catapults, it is really intimidating. It's a strong defensive line. At this moment, you would think you're feeling pretty solid, especially with the capability to rush out another giant next turn. But I'm sitting in a strong position myself, so I've just taken Zuazan, and that opens up a new front towards Roxim, it's hard to pronounce that. And my sword is able to vet and kill that catapult, which is going to ease up the pressure when trying to take Zell. So, I am just going to keep up my archer force, make sure that's pretty solid. Taking Kikek, as I said I would. Going to take a swing at the knight in Erlakbu and move my giant forward, ready to go. Getting my cloak ready to go and hit Kiemem, and I've got another cloak ready for ZL or to go around the side, depending. And I was able to wipe out that other giant with my giant right outside ZL, which gives me the giant advantage. The tide did turn there. I'm about to push out another giant in Zuazan over here. Lovely. And some archer and catapult support. Now I'm going to bring in a catapult as well to make sure I can match on par with my peer enemy here in ranged combat. And here we go. Turn 9. So at the start of turn 9, we have Mars striking back with the rider there and the catapult. Get some good strikes in, just trying to clear out the vet and make sure it can't get and do real damage to the other catapult. Gonna use those swords to just try and weaken my giants. One of them's dead. The other one is already looking less beefy than it did before. And that giant attack is smart. You want to usually do the offense with the giant-on-giant situation. It's always in your benefit, right? So that's what happened here. but it wasn't really enough to, save Mars in the long run on this end. So I'm going to start out with some side moves. I've taken my right and Kiamem, and I've begun the offense there. I'm pushing towards that Vengir city. I'm going to try and take there's Urlakbu as well. And now here I've taken Kekeg. So that's one less Cymanti player to worry about, and I get to leverage that nice mycelium to both heal my units and ensure I'm connected to stuff. And here I am in ZL. Getting a lot of good damage done. Unfortunately, no vet there, but, one could wish. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep pushing out and around. My plan is to try and envelop Mars, completely surround him and be able to push in from all sides as need be, although the offense is going strong on the front line, so it ultimately probably isn't necessary, but it never hurts, right? Never hurts indeed. Gonna push out another giant here. Looking pretty solid. So we're gonna zoom out and let's pause this, focus in on what's going on in the action, as is, and let's play through the whole turn, see what the other bots and everything have been up to while we've been playing our turns. Very bot move there. There is quite a bit to go through. Figure it's well over maybe 2 or 3 minutes just to go through the turn. Maybe I'm overestimating. It certainly does feel like a slog, though. We've just gone through the original bots that all have unique tribe colors. Now we're in the land of the black bots. A lot of swords. See, lots of knights, lots of swords. The bots are clearly a lot better than they were a couple updates back, that's for sure. Very interesting watching just a world of bots fight it out. Hard to tell what's what, though. All the borders are the same for the most part. It's like that song, "Paint It Black," you know. That is a classic. Oh, hey, somebody just got diplomacy. Nice. And indeed, with all these tribes, everything was painted black. I believe it was the Rolling Stones. I don't remember off the top of my head, though. Not perfectly. Yeah. Well, turn is still going. Kind of wanted to showcase the whole turn. I'm wondering if, wonder how much longer we've got, though, folks. It's going still. That's for sure. Alright, let's take a pause and see how far we've gotten. We were about here. And... oh, yes. Well, just take that for the sheer size of the epic events going on in this game. We watched just minutes and minutes and minutes of one single turn. And there was so much more to see. So let's zoom back in though towards the main fight that's going on. And here we've got Mars striking back with those catapults, gonna take out my giant here and clear ZL, saving the city once more. Very nice use of those riders to try and support, pushing up with that sword right outside of Hex S, pushing on my catapult and getting right into my my archer line. Just found out I've got a cloak outside ZL. That's not super awesome for him, but all I can do. So he's just trying to push what he can to try and, damage my giants or something. Now they're pushing towards Ratchich and Vako, which is a bit close. Another giant out helps, and Vako's looking like it's close to another giant as well. Of course, in my situation, I can't have a nasty unit right next to my catapult. I'm going to nab some of those brand new cities I've claimed first. And there we go. I've got Kimem as well, which is very good, very good. Getting some archer shots off. I want to take... it's another very hard to pronounce, near impossible one. Just going to damage it. And there we go. I've killed the sword. That was the main threat. Now I'm just going to push outside of Ratix. I'm also pushing on some of these Hoodrick players. Really, the rule of thumb is just always be expanding, so whatever opportunity I see to push myself out and into a new city, I take it. And there we go. We've mopped up forces. Now we're in ZL without really away from Mars to try and stop me from taking it. And at this point, I'm outside of Vako too, which is not great for Mars. The fight has really sort of solidified, and I've got quite a bit of territory now at this point under my control. I'm in first place with 7 cities, the most on the map. Next up's got 5. Unfortunately, Mars has only got 3 and is about to lose one of them. But it was hard fought trying to keep it. Just a bad time to run into me. And I got extremely lucky with that start. Of course, I've been trying to keep steady with at least 1 conquer per turn. And let's pause that and skip through to the next turn. We're on turn 10 right now. Yep. Very good, very good. And let's just take another sneak peek at how many... yeah, lots of bots dead. Not a whole amount have died since last time we checked. Still lots on the field right now, that's for sure. Alright, so Mars has got 2 giants, 1 up on the mountain, 1 in the city, and he has opted to do the Scorched Earth tactic. Raise everything in ZL for as many stars as possible, and then, let's see, yeah, gonna push out another giant in Vako. Very nice, very nice. Getting as much damage as possible on my giant that's outside of Rotich, so I can't get a siege next turn. And there we've got that giant and Vaco ripping down some more stuff. Using all those stars to try and support one last eco push for one more giant. Oh, and trying to send me a peace treaty, so that was what the eco push was. Of course, I declined that immediately. And there we go. So I'm going to try and level up Zell. You know, it's more just a point of pride. You know, I did see the Scorched Earth going down, and I knew I could undo a good chunk of it. I didn't want to have to throw a monument at it, but ultimately, there's just not really another way around that situation. The monument was going to be necessary. And, of course, I'm making plenty of claims elsewhere. Kiamem has fallen to me, Orlakbu fell to me, and then Imo counter-sieged Orlakbu, and now I need to fight back and retake it. I'm also going to finally take Kathuk. I just had to get some catapults in position first. I want to get as many shots in on Orlakbu as possible right now. I'm just going to try and clean house, really. Get one more slice in. And now the coup d'etat, which is leveling up the city and pushing him out. Much weakened and in a much weaker position at that point. We've also done the right out in Ruts. That's Mars's capital, which is going to be the most leveled up and thus the most vulnerable to it. Vaco's also a problem, and I'm getting ready to push around, but I'm going to take Thubarol and Kuopex first to sort of close the front line and allow me to push troops towards Vaco more easily. I've got more catapults in the back line, swords in the front line, and at this point, it's starting to be a knight sort of game. As much as cloaks were nice early on, knights are going to be the fastest unit to stay in the fight. So, let's pause on up and skip through to turn 12 here. And, spinning the old game wheel. There it goes, it's got up. As you can see, these turns are starting to get longer for some of these larger bot empires that are getting a little bit more leeway and stuff to play with. Well, let's skip into the fight for Mars. Getting a strike off there and getting a sword into the capital. At this point, pushed onto the ropes a teensy bit there. At least getting one good strike with the giant on my giant from Vaco, so that was a good shot there, and just doing a little extra Scorched Earth. At this point, I think Mars has realized there's no pulling out of it, so Mars is just going to try and, give me as little as possible in return for taking the city there. And I've got myself a nice turn plan. First off, we're just going to keep expanding and nab a few more cities while I'm at it. And I don't feel like losing Erlakbu once more. So I got a bit more force in the area. And there's a full health sword to go in. And I'm just going to try and mop up what I can with my swords. Weaken as much force as I can and make it so the next siege can't happen. I'll get another catapult in range when I need it. And it's just mopping things up by Raktis in the north. We've got cloaks attacking the giant. And, of course, I'm going to get right through that sword without too much trouble. And then I need to get into Vaco. But that's going to take some time. So I'm moving troops into position. And I'm going to just deal as much damage as possible. I really need to get a catapult in range to do some damage. But I don't have that just yet. But next turn, I will. And I can certainly afford to throw out a couple of swords until then. I'm at 87 stars per turn right now, with an extra 104 sitting around. Certainly have some stars to spare with 12 out of 100 cities under my belt. It's, again, quite a bit of income you can get in a ludicrous 900-tile cage match like this. And I have not opted to ignore the capability to whip up one's eco even further that this presents. And as you can see, I've got my first knights out too. They're going to do a good bit of damage. In the meantime, my next push is on this Luxador Empire out to the west, to the southwest to be specific. And there's some Luxador empires out to the southeast that also could present a nice opportunity. And IMO has proven themselves to also be quite a thorn in my side. So they're all going to have to be dealt with one way or the other, that's for sure. And it's quite a complex network of fights. I'm sure each one has an individual and interesting story going on. But just the sheer amount of time it would take to find out which one of these tribes they actually are and what they're up to just seems to make the time investment not worth it in this context. So here we are, turn 13, and we can see Mars doesn't really have much left going on. Unfortunately, Mars is kind of stuck in the corner here. I was doing a little bit more Scorched Earth right before I get to take Rookth. And popping out a sword in Vaco now that the giant's no longer going to be capable. I got a little help from my barter friend as a surprise, too. Also trying to reach out and be a friend with Barter at this point. Don't want Barter attacking Mars. And, you know, Mars happens to have the peace treaty, so he's going to send it. I, on the other hand, don't have to worry about peace with anything. I've got 101 stars per turn right now. I'm only going to be making more as I go. I have a massive verge of territory and an even more massive verge of income, both from embassies and from conquest, and I have embassies with a lot of people. Now, to make sure I can keep this win as secure as possible, I just need to weaken that giant. The other giant doesn't matter, even if it gets into rock, it'll just get stabbed by all of the daggers that are sitting around lying in wait. And I've got another giant sitting right there, too. There's not really any way to get a win out of that situation for poor Mars. And in the meantime, I'm just going to sort of mop things up, do what damage I can elsewhere. Finally getting a nice shot on that IMO city to the south. They left it relatively undefended. The real push, though, is the big war to the southeast. That's southwest. Sorry, that's soon to begin. And catapults in position and taking my first few pot shots. Lots of cloaks, lots of knights. Not that they made a huge amount of difference. Next turn will be the last turn of the game, now that I'm in Vaco. And let's skim along to that turn now. Turn 14. Past all the many bots and the many wars they're having. Like this right here. That's a lot of vision they've got. You can see quite a bit that's going on. A whole war of conquest in the south going. Vengir going strong, of course. Nice start, although it can be a little hazardous to be right in the middle. Dumux everywhere. It looks like every single Symantes city is producing it. It'd be quite a nasty fight as things continue onward. A lot of dead players at this point. A lot of dead bots, I should say. And of course, I'm here at 13 out of 100 cities. So sitting pretty strong. Mars did have 3 when we met, and I had 5. Unfortunately, Mars was in the corner with fewer expansion opportunities, and I had a whole bunch. So during the ensuing conflicts, I happened to take advantage of all that, and poor Mars didn't get a chance to. And here we go for the last turns of the game. Lots of embassies again. couple of conquests are nearing completion. The war in the east has happened, and it's pretty thorough. I'm able to take a good solid couple of cities. I've got a couple of battleships out to them. I have a giant battleship before the end of the game, just because, why not? My knight armies are running strong. There's that giant battleship showing up now. Then I'm not going to have the IMO messing with Erlakbu. I'm in Zugu. I'm in Exuli. My conquests are going strong. It would have been another 4 cities added on to the empire this turn after taking all of Mars's empire. Indeed, Vengir is great in a cage match, especially if you can manage to get that second explorer, because that's really the make or break there. That is what made this game the way it went for me, and unfortunately put Mars in a very tough situation. Yep, all comes down to luck, really. That was out of both of our control. Anyways, Polytopians, we can tell the turn's pretty close to over here, so I just want to say thanks as always for tuning in, and make sure you hop on over and check out our Discord. The link will be in the description below. We got lots of great stuff going on there. You can hop into 1v1, free-for-all, or team games on there. We also have a mentoring program going on. You should go check that out. It's a wonderful thing going on there. A lot of very skilled mentors we've got. So if you're feeling like you could use a little tune-up on your skills, or, I don't know, maybe a little boost on your competitive edge, then, hop on over. Or if you're a newbie and you really want to get good from scratch, this is the perfect place to, for you to hop on over and explore. So just pop on over to the Discord. And anyways, thanks as always for tuning in, and it has been a very long video. Until next time, see ya.